Hello everyone, welcome to Beginner's Guide. In today's tutorial, I'm going to teach you how to create GUI applications using Java programming. I'm going to teach you how to create a GUI application by creating a simple project that will enable us to store the student information. As you can see them here, let me put the student name here as Ranjan, and then let me put some email address, ranjan@gmail.com, and then department, let's say IT, and then I also want to put the mobile number here. Now when I click on this button add, the information will be added to the table that I have created them here. Now what is the use of this clear button? When I click clear, these fields will be cleared. What is the use of this delete information? Let's say for example you have more than one information in the table. Let me add some more details. alex at gmail.com, and then here I'm going to say maths. Mobile number, I'm going to say like this. When I click add, even this information will be added to this table. Now let's say for example between the two I want to delete only the information for the student Alex, so you select and click delete. In that case he's just going to delete the information for the student Alex, but the other information will be remain there in the table. This is exactly what we are going to do. Let's get started. To create this project, I'm going to use NetBeans IDE version 8.2. If you are using any other IDEs, that's not going to be a big ask, but I'm going to use NetBeans IDE 8.2 to create this project and to teach you how to create GUI application using Java. So first I'm going to file, I'm going to click new project. Here I'm going to select the first option, Java. Here I'm going to select Java application. I'm going to click next. You can give any name for your project. I'm going to say project GUI, and then here I'm just going to uncheck this create main class because I'm not going to have a main class here. I'm going to click finish. As you can see them here, here is my project GUI, the one that I created. Now I'm going to expand. Let me see, this is how it's going to look. Click on this plus. Here you're going to see source packages as well as libraries. I'm going to expand this source packages. Here I'm going to select this source package, right click, select this new, and create a Java package. Let's say the name of the package can be anything. Basically package is a collection of classes, interfaces, and namespaces. Is usually used to avoid naming conflicts in Java program. So you can give any name here, not necessarily be Ranjan. You can give your name as a package name. Now I'm going to click finish. As you can see them here, my package Ranjan has been created. Now I'm going to select the package. I'm going to right click. I'm going to select new. From here I'm going to select JFrame form. In case if you don't see JFrame form here, all you need to do is click on this option other. Select now Swing GUI forms, the second option. Here I'm sure that you can able to see JFrame form. Select this one, click next, give a name. Say for example I want to give this one as student. You can give a name and click finish. It's going to create the frame for us. I wanted to resize this frame to this far, and then I'm going to get a panel from this swing container. I want to put this panel on top of this J-frame. So the next thing is I wanted to get a label. I want to put a label here. Right click, edit text, student management system. So change the font, color if you want. So for this particular panel, let me just change the background color. I want to use this background color. Let me make it light like this. So this is student management system. I want to increase the font. board, like this. Horizontal alignment, I'm going to say, you select the student management, the label. In the properties, I'm sure that here you can see something called horizontal alignment. So click on this drop down menu. So make this one center. So just adjust this and adjust this. So the next thing is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a panel again. I'm going to get a panel. I bring them here, and then let me just resize it up to this far, and then I just wanted to make it full here. So I put another panel here. So now I'm going to the properties. From the properties, this property is name called opaque. This box is checked. I'm going to uncheck this one, and then I wanted to change the border as well. So there is a property name called border. At the moment is no border. Select these three dots. I wanted to have a title border. For this title, I'm going to say add student. I'm going to click OK. I'm sure that now you can able to see the add student. If you want to change the border, title border, this is add student. If you want to increase the font, bold, make it 18, like this. I'm going to click OK. So this is how it's going to look like. And then if I preview this one, this is how it's gonna look like. So there is this panel here. So inside this one, I want to add some labels. So I'm going to pick the label here. So the label here is going to be student name, and then I wanted to bring the text field down here. Let me just remove this text, and then this will be the text field. Same way, this is for the student name, this is text field. Down here I'm going to bring another label. Right click, edit, student name, email address. I want to have another text field down here. Going back to the design, just removing the text. So this is student name, email address, what else? So we can have another label, program, and then I'm going to have another text field. Let me edit the text. You can choose the color that you want. It's not mandatory. What is important is the way it looks. So, and then let's say the last label can be a mobile number, and then text field have removed. So what I want to have them is, I wanted to have two more buttons. So one is to add the student information. Another button would be used to clear the input field. So after putting all those things, I just wanted to select all these text fields or labels, and then I wanted to select this font. Now I want to increase the font bold. Let me say 24, and then I want to say this particular font. So even this one, let me just increase the font size. Okay, so now buttons, I've selected both of them. I wanted to increase the size, bold, 24, the same font family. Now I want to select these two buttons, right click, go to same size, same width, go to same size, same height. Select these text boxes if you want them to be the same size, so same width, same way, you can say same height, so that they will be in the same width, same height. So if you wanted to see the preview, you can actually see the preview by running this. At the moment, this is how my design looks like, which is not bad. So it's, yeah, you can use different colors if you want. So now what I want to do is I wanted to add another button here. For this button, I want to say delete. So even for this button, I want to change the font, 24, bold, the same font family. So if I try to see the preview, this is how it looks. This is basically a design. You can use any color that you want, things like that. It's up to you. So now this is my panel. So this side, what I want to do is I wanted to bring a table, because every time when I put the student information here, I want to print that information in a tabular format. So for that, if you go to this same swing controls, I'm sure that you can able to see this option name called table. Select that one, drag and drop them here. Same way, you can adjust this table like this. So now select the table, right click, choose this table contents, go to columns. This one, first one says title 1, change that title 1 to student name, because first we wanted to collect the student name, and then the second one is email address, so say this one is an email. Third one is a program, and then the final one is a mobile. So when you rename these things, click close. I'm sure that now you can able to see the title of this table has changed. Now again select the table, right click, table contents, go to the rows, select the rows that comes default, and then click delete and click close. Now I'm sure that you can able to see those default rows have gone. Now if you want to increase, there is a typo here, it's a student name. Simply we are collecting the data from these input fields, and then we are going to store them into the table that we had put them there. If you wanted to increase the font, actually you can do that. For those labels, bold, 18, let's say I just want to choose the same. So these fonts that we set them here is for the data that we are going to insert them. So this is basically a design. So let's say, for example, if you wanted to add an icons to this student management system. So let's say I wanted to add an icon for this student management system label itself. So for that, what you can do, you can open your browser. So here just type free icons download. There are different websites where you can download the icons from. I'm sure that you even heard about Font Awesome. So now I just wanted to use this flat icon, the first one. I'm going to click on this one. Since we are trying to work with student management system, So I'm going to select, in the search bar, I'm going to type student. When I hit enter, it's going to give me a different icons here. So you can select the icons that you want. Let's say, for example, I wanted to select this one. I'm selecting this one. There are different format. I want to choose the PNG format. By default, you can see the image size is 512 pixel. I want to choose the image with the small pixel. So let's say I'm going to choose 24 pixel. I'm going to download this one. It's free actually. So graduated.png is a file name. I'm going to click download. So now what I want to do is I'm going back to my code. I wanted to include that icon here for the student management system. So select the student management system. Go to the properties. I'm sure that you would be able to see the properties name called icon. Select these three dots. Select that three dots, and then there is this option named external image. So import to the project. Go to the folder where you have downloaded this one. I'm going to select that one, click finish, click OK. Now I'm sure that you can able to see the icon. So same, if you wanted to add an icon to the add button, select. So let's say, for example, for the add, I want to get an icon, add. When I click enter, it goes here. Then there are different icons that you can see them here. Let's say, for example, I wanted to use this icon or this icon. You can download the one that you would want. So let's say I wanted to select this one, and then I wanted to choose 24 pixel free download. I'll download this one, and then in the same way I also want to have one for clear button. So for clear, you can choose the icon that you want. For clear, let's say, for example, this one. I'm going to download 24 pixel free download, and then I also want to get an icon for the delete button. So let's say for the delete button, I choose this. I want to choose this 24 pixel free download. So I'm going back to the add button. I go to the icon, click on these three dots, import from the project. I think for the add button, what is the name of the file? Add button plus. Is there anything called plus? Yeah, this one. I'm going to click finish, click OK. As you can see, the icon has been added. So for the clear, I wanted to do the same. Clean, click finish, click OK. As you can see, for the clear, the icon has been added. Even for the delete button, I want to add an icon. So I will select here, icon, import to the project, bin, click finish. OK. As you can see, we managed to add icons to our buttons just to make it look nice. So far, as for now, what we have done is nothing. Simply, we have come up with a UI. So if you try to run this one, this is how our design is going to look like. Student management system. We have added an icons for the add button, clear button, and delete button. So what is next? Let's say, for example, if I enter a text here in this text box, they are small. So what I want to do is I wanted to select all these input views, and then I want to change the font to 24 bold. Then the font family is Book Antiqua. That's it. Now what is next? Every time when I enter the value into this text views, I wanted to collect those values, and then I wanted to print those information into this table that we have created. So what does that mean? First, I want to create a variable for this field. I'm going to right click, change variable name. For the student name, I'm going to say yes name. For email address, the variable name is email. For the program, the variable name is program. Mobile number, variable name is, let's say, mobile. For this add button, let me change the variable name to btn add. For this clear button, let me add the variable name to btn clr clear. For this delete button, let me change the variable name to btm deo delete. Even for this particular table, I want to change the variable. Initially, by default is table1, so I want to change the name of the variable for this particular table to table. I'm going to click OK. Now what is next? We are going to target each of these input fields, and then we are going to collect the values from there. Once I click on this add button, whatever the information that you're going to put in those input fields needs to be recorded in this particular table. So we need to target each of these input fields. So if you wanted to target each of these input fields, what do you need to do? We use a method name called getText. So when I click on the add button, here the first thing is string name. The name of the student will come from yesName variable dot get text. Any questions here? So what is this yesName? YesName is simply a variable for this particular input box. I'm going to get the text from this text field, and then I want to store them into this variable name called name. In the same way, I wanted to do it for other ones as well. What is the next one? Program. Is it email? I think email. So for the email, remember the variable is what? An email. So you will not be able to have the same name. So here I'm going to say email1, let's say. The next one is a program. So let me say this one as a course, but the name of the variable for that input field is, program. The next one is a mobile. I'm going to call this one as a contact. So name of the variable for that one is what? Mobile. What does that mean? By having access to these variables, you have an access to the values that you are going to enter into that input field. Now what is next? We have to make sure all those input fields has a value. Isn't it so? How are you going to check all those input fields who have a value? We can have a condition if name dot is empty. What does that mean? We're trying to check if it is empty or not. I'm going to use the logical OR, and then email1 dot is empty, logical OR, course dot is empty, logical OR, contact dot is empty. If this condition is true, what will happen? The fields are empty, isn't it so? If this condition is true, if either one of the condition is true, when I use logical OR, what does that mean? If either one of the condition is true, what does that mean? Even if you leave just only one input field blank, this condition is still going to be executed. So if this condition is true, what do we need to display? J option pen dot show message dialog. What do we need to display? Values. We can say please enter the values. Or if you say please enter the values, user might be confused, like which field are you referring to? So for that we can simply say j option pen dot error not error, actually error message. We can display an error message. We can simply remove this. Because this error message in this case will highlight the field that is missing. So when I save this one, let me go back and run to show you what I mean. So let's say I'm going to enter Ranjan, and then I'm going to enter some email address, program IT, mobile number, something like this. Let's say I'm not entering anything. When I click add, now it's showing 0. Why is it showing 0? Because there is this field that is missing. So now if I enter something, when I click add, the error message will not show, because there is no error, because every field we have the value. Now what is next? When I click add, it's supposed to record all this information, and this information needs to be displayed in this particular table, or we need to store, or we need to record this information into the table that we have created. So for that, what do we need to do? We need to write a condition. So this if condition will be executed only if any of the fields are empty. If the fields are not empty, what does that mean? The records are there, we need to store them into the table. Now I'm going to write the else here. Now we need to take that one to a table that we created. For that, we are going to make use of a built-in class name called default table model. So this default table model is a class, and then let's say I wanted to create a object for this class. So as soon as when I put default table model, there is an error here, because this is a built-in class. If you want to use this class, you need to import this package, Java SwingDefault table model. So now I'm going to say equals default table model, and then what is the, so what does that mean? First, if you wanted to store that information into the table, first we need to get the model for that table. What is the variable did I create for that table? If I go back to the design, select the table, right click, check the variable name here is table. So I need to get the model for that table, so I'm going to say table dot get model. So what it does is basically gets the model of the table. Before you store the information into the table, first we need to identify the structure of the table. Once you have the model of the table, by using this variable model dot, there is method name called, we wanted to add the row, to that table. So here we are going to use this methods, because it's an array, because we are going to add more than one data. So I'm going to say new object, it will be an array because we are going to store more than one data. In this array, what we are going to store them is the name, comma, email 1, comma, course, comma, contact. So simply means we are trying to get the model of the table. Once you get the model of the table, add these informations, name, email, course. Where is these things are coming from? These are the variables that we use to collect the value of those input fields. I think that's it. Let me save. Let me rerun. I'm going to put the details. Ranjan, ARRANJ 91 at gmail.com. Program of study, let's say IT. Mobile number, let's say 978645475. Click add. As you can see, now the information has been added to the table. As you can see, now we have managed to add the information to the table. So if you want to add more information, let's say
Owen, let's say owen@gmail.com. Let's say this one is computer science. Let's say his phone number is, I don't know. Click add. Now Owen information has been added to the table, right? So now I'm going to close. So the add button is working. Now what is clear? When I click clear, I should be able to clear this field. I should be able to clear this field. If I wanted to clear the information here, what do I need to do? I need to pick the variable for that input field, and then I'm going to use the set text method to an empty string. So I'm going to double click on this clear button. How am I going to clear? What is the variable name for the student name field? Yes, name dot set text. I wanted to set them to one empty string. Why? I wanted to clear. When I click on the clear button, in the same way, what is the variable for this email address? I think this is email. What about this one? This is program. This is mobile. So what I want to do is, in the same way, the next one is what? Email. Email dot set text. I want to set it to an empty string because I wanted to clear, and then program dot set text. I want to set them to an empty string. In the same way, mobile dot set text. I want to set this one to an empty string. So what does that mean? Now if I go back and run, let's say I wanted to put something here. When I click clear, it's supposed to clear this one, isn't it so? It's gone. You put something here, and some numbers here, click clear, is going to clear everything because we selected the variables for this one. Once I click this one, I set the text to an empty string. So as a result, anything that you put them here will be cleared. Is it making sense? Right? So in our design, what is next? So yes, we were able to add, then we are able to clear. Now we should be able to delete. When do you want to delete? Let's say for example, I want to put my details again. Let's say IT and my phone number. Click add. So and then another one. Let's say owen@gmail.com. IT, his phone number. Let's say add. So when we talk about the delete, when I click delete, it's not going to delete anything. But the way that I wanted it to work is, I wanted to delete the row that I wanted to delete. Let's say for example, if I select Owen, when I click delete, it must delete the row that I selected, not everything. Is that making sense? So it should delete the row that I selected, not the whole thing. So for that, what do I need to do? I need to double click on this delete button. So this is where I need to write the logic. If you want to delete, remember I just wanted to delete the row that I selected. So for that, table is the name of the variable. If you could remember, table is the name of the variable that I created. So table dot get selected row, because only the row that I'm going to select will be deleted, is equals to, let's say I wanted to store them into a variable. So the name of the variable can be anything. Let's say integer row. So what is this variable row is doing? Is basically we will have an access to the row that you selected in the table. If this row is less than 0, when the row is less than 0, what does that mean? You have not selected any row. That's what it means, isn't it so? When the row less than 0 means you have not selected any rows. When you have not selected any row, but still you wanted to press on the click button, it's supposed to give you a message saying that please select a row to delete, or maybe please select the data to delete. So for that we are going to say j option pen dot show message dialog. So in this case what we want to do is we can just say this comma, no row is selected, please select the row, comma, we can also say j option pane dot error message. This is a message that will be displayed here with this error message. Previously it was showing us just 0, right? So if you wanted to avoid that one, where is that one? That's for the add, right? So here we can say, instead of saying j option pan error message, we can pass the value for that one, which simply means fuse are empty, or maybe we can say no empty fuse allowed. And then for this one we can actually say a message. So instead of seeing 0 as a result, we can say empty fuse. So this is a message for this error message. So what I mean is, when I save this one, I'm going to run. If I leave any of these places empty, let's say like this, now you can able to see that error message saying no fuse allowed. So where is this no fuse allowed? It's coming from this one, no, let me say empty fuse allowed. So that's a message is going to be displayed. So that red thing that you saw them there is coming from this built-in function name called j option pane dot error message. So that's what is bringing that red color thing, right? So now we are working on the delete. So in the delete, yes, so when you have not selected anything, it's going to say no row is selected. Let's say for example you have selected something. So if you have selected something, you need to detach that row from the table. So for that, what we need to do is we are just going to use the same class, default table model. Remember, this is a built-in class, and then we are going to create an object is equals to, this is basically a syntax for you to use a table within the Java Swing, default table model. And then here the name of the variable is table dot get model. It gets the table model, and then this model we are going to remove. So remove the row that you selected, that's what it means. So whatever the row that you have selected will be removed. So what does that mean? When I save this one, now let me go there and run the file. I'm going to enter the details. When I click add, the information has been added. So let's say here I want to add, click add, and then let's say here root set. So let's say I wanted to delete a data. If I don't, at this point in time I have not selected anything. If I have not selected anything, what is the logic did I say? If you have not selected anything, it's going to show us the message saying no row is selected. So I'm going here. As you can see, no row is selected. Why this red color thing with the white inside is coming? Because of the built-in function that we used in there, name called j option pane dot error message. So now if I wanted to delete one, you select Ranjan, click delete. It has been deleted. Now everything works fine. The only problem is once I close that window, the information that I had put them there has gone. Isn't it so? So what does that mean? So it seems like you are saving the data to the database. Once you close the application, the information has disappeared. So which will make you to retype the information every time when you rerun. So to avoid this one, we need to work with some events. So what do I mean to say? We need to work with some event. So even if I close the output window, I still wanted to keep that information. So to do that, what do we need to do? Here, as you can see, then we need to go to our main frame. Where is our main frame? This J frame. Select, right click on this one. Where is the JFrame that we have? The first JFrame that we created, you remember? This one. This is where every other components are sitting in that JFrame, because first we created a JFrame. On top of that one we had put JPanel. So now we need to write an event for that JFrame where even if you close the window, it should still able to store the details that you have entered. So select this JFrame from here, right click, go to events. From this events, go to this windows. When you go to this windows, when you're closing the window, when you're closing the application, you still want to save the information that you type. So go and choose this event name called window closing. So within this window closing, you need to write a logic where even if you close the application, it should still able to store the information. So for that, what do we need to do? We are going to say default table model, because we are still working with a table. Model is equals to default get model, the same method. And then down here I'm going to use the vector. This vector is simply a Java collection framework. So basically vector is it used to create the dynamic array, isn't it so? Where we can able to increase the size of an array or decrease the size of an array. So I'm going to use the vector. This is basically coming from Java collection framework. So this is vector. Let's say I'm going to create a variable name as table data. This table data is simply a model dot get data vector. So since you are using the vector class, so you need to import the package. So this import package is coming from utility java.util. So it's basically is used to create a dynamic array, because we can have more data, we can include more student information, we can remove more student information during the runtime. So this vector will allow us to store the information in an array. So now what is next is I'm going to use the try catch block. So now what we need to do, we need to, when you are closing the file, we need to be able to store that information somewhere, because so that we won't lose the information. So I'm going to use this method name called file output stream. Is a class. This file output stream is going to have a object name as file new file output stream. So let's say when I'm closing, I want to store that information into a file. So this here we are going to specify the name of the file. Let's say Ranjan is the name of the file. I wanted to store them as a bin. So we are using this class. So import the package for that one. What is the error? So semicolon missing. Again still there is an, so since there is a try, I need to, it's saying that I should add a catch block. So this one, using this, I'm going to say object output stream is equals, let's say output. This is also a built-in class, object output stream. So I have to import the package if I want to. So basically the first one stores the information into a file, so that next time when you open, you can able to retrieve the information from that file. So object output stream, so it's going to, we are going to create an object. So let me just copy new this, and then I'm going to say this one as a file. So and then using this variable output dot write object method. So here what we want to store them is this same table data, the same data you want to store them there in the output. And then after that, even when output dot close and then file will also be closed. So output will be closed, file will be closed because we are closing the window. And then here basically in the catch we are going to handle the exception. So let's say exception just an E is basically E dot print stack trace. In case if there is any exception, it should be able to do this. So what we are trying to do them here is once you close, we are trying to save that information into this file name called, it's going to create a binary file, Ranjan. That information will be stored. For us to store, we are using this file output stream class as well as object output stream class. In the same way, we need to add another event, same JFrame form, because when we open those information, when you close it will be saved, but when we open it needs to come back. So right click, go to events, same windows. So this time window opened. When you open, you should be able to see that information. So for that, even here we are just going to use the try catch block. So let me just finish typing the code. I will explain you. Here as you can see, this one when we open the data should come back. So everything else is just the same file output stream. We are bringing them, we are closing them from the default model. Why did I use the for loop here? Because we have saved the file somewhere. Now what we need to do when you try to rerun again, you should iterate through every data in the table, and then we need to be able to print every data. That's the reason why we are using the for loop. So as long as you have data in that table, it will iterate through according to the size of the table data, then it should be able to print all the details. That's exactly what you can see them here. Now let me rerun again. So I'm going to put the details, Ranjan, click add, the information has been added. I'm going to close this one. So what I want to do is now, I wanted to open it again. This time I'm sure that you can see that information is still there, the one that I entered, because we saved them in another file, then we are trying to fetch that information from that one. So if you wanted to edit this one, let's say for example, I wanted to edit the program from IT to computer science. When you hit enter, the program will be edited. So this one is, you can resize this one, the design. So this is basically how you can create a GUI application using Java. It's actually very simple. Thank you. Have a good day.